screen record on your phone as well. You know.
Okay.
Where's the screen?
Okay, we're live.
So hello.
Hi, guys. Thanks for joining. This is Essence of the Year 2022 and the Future of 2023.
Well, welcome. I'm Dr. Abbasi.
I'm Amanda Armagast, and we're just going to talk about what we thought was super exciting this year and what we're looking forward to next year.
But as well, I would like to discuss what's exciting for us should be exciting for anybody who listened to this. And I was thinking about, we talked about that. How can we make truly people understand why what's exciting to us is as well exciting to other people? But why don't you start, what are you excited about, Amanda?
I think I want to save what I'm the most excited about for last because it is a really big grand finale explosion thing. But one thing I'm really excited about is this podcast. We started it this year. We've only been going on for a couple of months, and already we have some really great loyal listeners, and a lot of people, I think, enjoy listening to our podcast. Every person who listens to it is smarter at the end.
Yeah, and I'm truly as well proud of this. And we take time to educate our listener, to educate the public as a general, and we are in a way contributing for all of us to be smarter.
Exactly.
So, you wanted first recap the last year, or still not last year, but for another, there's still this year.
Yeah, for this year and one more day, I guess.
One more day.
One big thing that we've been working on this past year is training different surgeons around not only the U.S. but the globe.
You want to talk about who are the people who came to us?
We, in Texas, we have a few different surgeons. One of them is Dr. Gasco.
Well,
Hi, Dr. Gasco.
hello there.
He's been doing the Olaf procedures on his own
For a long time now, and as well, I should say, quite amazingly, very complex cases now. And that is truly, I'm proud of that we could capture our knowledge and pass it on to him. And he was very good at receiving the knowledge. Now he's doing very severe cases that I was able to do only after a few hundred cases, just after, I would say less than 100 or maybe even 50 to 70 cases. So practically, our method of capturing our knowledge, packaging it, and pass it on, which we call soft transition, has been extremely successful to help other people to get much faster, better than I had to go through to become efficient at this procedure. Obviously, I have done, I just was counting it at 1,500 cases. And I noticed that people who join us are able, with the soft transition, to hit my milestone in 1/7 to 1/10 of the number of the cases. And Dr. Gasco is proof of that. He is doing now 3-level fusion in 1.5 hours and sending the patient home same day. That is truly an amazing performance.
especially in somewhere like Texas. I feel like in Texas, there's a lot of people that need that procedure, especially because I was just reading about how many rural hospitals are closing. I think in just the state of Texas alone this year, 21 hospitals closed.
Yeah, and that impact the patient's access to the care. And the part of your grand finale, I'm assuming, is going to be that.
We'll come back to it. But we also are training surgeons in Kansas. We're flying to Kansas pretty soon here next month in January.
Yes, that's exciting.
Yeah. Why is that exciting to you?
Well, because we have been the national service for a long time, but now it's truly expanding rapidly to multiple states, and we are becoming truly a national brand through that. And that excites me about that now for at least a few years, people have been coming to us, especially people who are well educated regarding getting information regarding their spine problem. They find us and they come to us Now we are going to go to them.
I know. Now we're finally going to them. This year also is the first year that we've done a lab just about every month.
Yeah.
All of these labs have surgeons obviously from different states and also different countries. We've had multiple surgeons with interest from Ecuador. We've had doctors come from the UK. We're going to Germany next year.
Yes, and as well, hopefully to South Africa. Dr. Kim was in South Korea training as a surgeon there. So we are not becoming only national, we are becoming global. And that is as well, I think, important considering what we are doing. I think it's important for the public as general.
And for those of you listening, we do have someone off camera who's going to read to you your questions and comments,
Yeah.
and then we can answer them. So don't feel shy.
So, and I was thinking about, Amanda, we are going to talk as well about our future, but I was thinking on the way here, why should people who listen to us be excited about this? And I came up with a method just on the fly. I'm going to discuss it with you, and maybe you can as well help me out here. Why are people we are excited about that because we see what we are doing, but why should a listener be excited about our going national and global? And the answer to that came to me as a TikTok I was watching. And in this TikTok, it was very funny actually. It was saying about that people in 70s and 80s, they looked so old comparing to now. Like in that TikTok, they were showing people in their 30s, they would look like people now in their 50s, or they would show people in their 50s, they would look like now people in their 70s. And they were discussing why. They didn't come with an answer, but they were discussing why is it that people like 50 years ago, they looked so much older if you look at the pictures from that side for that time. Do you have an idea?
I have a few ideas.
Yeah.
One of them is pretty obvious: style.
Yeah.
The style back then was pretty different from now. And I think when I imagine the climate of, and I don't mean temperature, I mean more like attitudes surrounding people, that is when women were starting to become more comfortable being themselves and being more open. So now people are more willing to wear their hair different ways. And
Yeah.
also there's new technology. So you can get Botox for a couple $100 and
Yeah.
you already look 10 years younger.
Yeah. And all these technologies, they sum up in us as a population getting older. We are able to get older. Like I'm going to go in another few hundred years ago. How many in their 30s, like in 1700, do you think still have their own natural teeth in their 30s and 40s? Very
Not
few.
many, yeah.
Very few. As a matter of fact, we know about lots of people, politicians like
George Washington.
Washington had a wooden thing, or they would use other people's
Yeah, I'm pretty
teeth
sure
and
George
so on.
Washington had the teeth of slaves.
Yeah, but having said all of that, the nutrition was a big part of what we were doing, and but that problem was solved. People, and the dental work is part of the nutrition. We solved those problems, so people could get much older as a general. Like life expectancy has been growing steadily, and once we passed the barrier of nutrition and teeth, dental care, but we hit another barrier, general medical care and hygiene and so on. We hit another barrier, and I think that our current barrier of us getting older is spine. I want to explain that. Why do you think that over the last 1,000 years, and that excites me, that we are at the pivotal moment in the human history of the medical care of the human history, is that for a long time just the hygiene was a problem, and we solved that. We could get older. Then childbirth was a deadly situation. We solved that, and and then the mothers wouldn't die anymore. Then the dental work, food safety, we solved that. And all of that let us get older. Spine wasn't a problem because in average, people didn't really get old enough for the spine
Yeah,
wear and tear.
right.
But now it is. We know that by the time you are 50 years old, there's only 30% chance that you don't have spine problem. By the time you are 60 years old, there's only 5% chance you don't have spine problem. And by the time you are 70 years old, there's only 1 to 2% chance you don't have spine problem. Now, what happens if you do have spine problem? I mean, you are probably young that you don't have spine problem, but I
But
know.
my family has spine
Tell me about it. Tell me about it. What is their spine problem, and how does it impact their life, the life of people around them?
Well, my grandma is a perfect example. I spend a lot of time with her. She uses a walker or a cane, and it's not just her spine, but because of her spine, she's a lot slower and it's harder for her to get out of bed. She has one of those benches in her shower and different handles
Mm-hmm.
just in case. She knows that she's a lot slower, and it actually makes her feel a little bit not embarrassed, but she feels like she's holding people back around her.
Yeah, and we noticed that once people start having spine problem, they cannot walk, they cannot do activity, they cannot exercise. Practically, all of a sudden, they fall. The aging process it become very steep. We decondition when we cannot walk, when we cannot have usual activities. We truly decondition, and for many people now, when we get older, other problem like nutrition, food hygiene, and so on and so forth. So we do get older, but then we hit a new barrier in our natural life, which is the spine. As a matter of fact, we have this a video online. Please go and watch it. It's called The Natural History of Spine. If you just put that in YouTube, you will see that. That explains that our spine has a natural aging process. And once we hit a certain point, then practically our body deconditioned. And the difference is, are you active in life? Are you enjoying your life? Are you able to do daily activity? And then all of a sudden, that barrier becomes a matter of life and death, unfortunately, for many people toward after 50, 60, 70, become a problem that until now was a very big problem to be solved. Like, imagine you go for your yearly dental check, right?
2 times per year.
2 times a year. Imagine, and you have have they ever filled any of your cavities and so on?
Yeah.
And imagine filling your cavity without anesthetic and so on would be something that they do only if you're about to die or if something majorly have to happen to you. The threshold, imagine the threshold of you getting dental care was that high. Often for spine, because it's a long surgery, bloody surgery, the threshold for us to provide patient with a care is very high because the risk associated with that is very high. That means for many, elderly, they just have to live with it, and these people are active. These people are like in their 70s or even 80s. They want to enjoy their life. Thanks God, they have still their partners with them. They want to go on trips. They want to do things. And all
I
of a
remember
sudden,
your last patient I talked to actually
Yeah.
was really excited to get back in her RV with her husband.
Yeah, you want
She
to
told
explain
me,
that?
she told me that the worst part about before her life before surgery was she couldn't go on walks in the forest.
Yeah.
And so I asked her, what are you the most excited about? And she said, I cannot wait to go on a trip.
Yeah, and these people, while they are active, they keep going. But once they stop being active, literally the heart, cardiovascular system decondition, their life expectancies go so much lower. But more importantly, from that moment, they cannot enjoy their life anymore. And for traditional surgery, the threshold to give them the care they need is so high. Many of these people are literally sent out of our practices and are told there's no way they can be helped. And what I'm excited about, and what everybody should be excited about, that hopefully once we are through this process, and it's a painful process in medicine to adapt to new technology, the spine care will be a routine care that can be provided the same way hopefully that the dental care is a
Right.
routine care that can be provided, so people can enjoy their life, can and go and do things that is good for them, and that being active not only make them productive, but it makes it fun to live.
It improves their quality of life
Yeah.
overall.
And many of these patients, they don't have fun anymore living, and that is, I think, something that I'm excited about. That we are pivotal to make that transition. That now we can do it on an 85-year-old, a 3-level fusion, send them home next day.
And on even Jehovah's Witnesses.
Yeah, you want to tell about that? You did that.
Yeah.
That interview.
I've done a few.
You want to tell about that specific case?
Yeah. I don't remember all the details from that specific case, but I know I've spoken with a few Jehovah's Witnesses who've had their procedures here, and it was really important to them to have a procedure that had minimal blood loss, simply because it's not in their religion to have any blood transfusions.
But
So
that's
it's-
not specific to Jehovah's Witness. Higher blood loss, which is associated with regular surgery, and that is why they have been declined and rejected for regular surgery, is a big part of their risk profile
Yeah.
of regular surgeries.
But I think I think it's sad that these people are getting turned away because of, or choosing to turn themselves away because of their religion. And I think it's beautiful that in the United States, where we have the freedom of religion and you can choose, we're providing that option.
Yeah, and because we're reducing the risk associated with surgery so much, this become all of a sudden an option for people that previously weren't candidate to be helped. But now the problem is here that if they don't walk and they don't ambulate, literally is a cascade. The cascade will start that make the life less fun for them, less active for them, decondition the cardiovascular system, and it put them on a path that is really not favorable, and the whole the family stop doing what they are doing to just help this patient. We can stop that cascade. We are overcoming the next barrier for in our aging process right in this building, and that is exciting to me. And the fact that everybody eventually will have, almost everybody eventually will have spine problem, that is why everybody who listen to that should be excited about that, because in their 80s and in their 90s they might still be able to go and do golfing or go on trips and do things that's fun for them. So and that is part of actually this miracle of medicine that has been ongoing. We don't die of food poisoning. If you look at the statistic, we are getting older and healthier, and that we can contribute to that. That is
Right.
exciting for me.
So out of this entire year, all 12 months, what is the most memorable moment, or what are you the most happy about?
Well, it is the accumulation of many, many different memories, but where we are sitting right now, or we opened our clinic, we went from the 3-room to 5-room and now to almost 15 rooms here in this clinic. We are building our surgery center, and we are expanding to many states and many countries actually. And the fact that we are becoming a national brand, and the resistance of learning this new technique and technology is slowly being overcome by the sheer amount of data that we have been providing. One of my, we in medicine, we are conservative for a good reason. And now we have such a sheer amount of data that it is hard to argument that we still should be doing standard of treatment that is 40 and 70 years old. And my joy in this is that it is like a small little the domino effect that keep going.
Yeah. We talked a little bit about what's coming up next year, such as our travels and doing different labs in different countries. That's a huge step. I don't know if the excitement is really getting relayed over, but it is a huge step with these new countries. What I'm most looking forward to is actually taking place right now. Slash, did you hear anything or?
Not yet, but it's ongoing. Now, I think obviously we are going to this January. We are going to Kansas. We are going to Oman. We in the Gulf region. We are helping somebody to actually learn the technique in their hospital in Oman. Dr. Jahwari, if you watch this, you have been great in setting this up, and I'm sure you will be the center to go, place to go in the whole Gulf region, and we are happy to be part of that success. And as well, obviously we are planning to open surgical hospitals across the nation. And the next step is Texas. And I have connection to Texas.
We have our
I'm trained
eyes.
there. I have trained in Texas, and in a way for me to expanding to where my training was, going home in a way. And I'm looking very forward to bring this technology in a hospital setting in Texas. And Inspired Spine, we are planning actually to own and operate the hospital, and being able to provide this care to practically everybody. And I think that's the point. We provide the same good technology and the service to everybody. And I may want to explain, obviously, for the last 8 years, we are one of very, very, very few people who can do multi-level fusion in a surgery center. This is so uncommon that we do this kind of surgery in a surgery center that Medicare actually at this point does not even knows or has a code to do this kind of surgery in a surgery center. So for Medicare patient, this can be only done in a hospital.
And that's what makes it so exciting that we're opening the hospital. We can help so many more patients than we can right now.
Yes, because many of these patients are elderly. We talked about that. Spine is a disease of the elderly, and now we can help them freely.
Regardless of their insurance.
Regardless of their insurance, yes. And we can give them the same standard that we give them in our surgery center in a hospital, because we can provide those protocols. We truly sum it down to the essence of what we are doing, which is very high level care with a minimum amount of risks and the maximum recovery, maximum possible recovery. And that is, I'm very excited about Texas, actually.
There's a lot more I want to say about Texas, but I was told to take it easy. So you guys stay tuned when I spill the beans next time.
Yeah. Now, as well, I think, Amanda, you're working on these healing centers. I think that's something that you are mostly involved. What excites you about these healing centers you are building?
The healing centers are something I'm really passionate about. I don't know where to even begin for what I'm the most excited about. We're planning on teaching people how to avoid needing to see him ultimately.
Yes.
So kind of just taking care of your mind, your body, and your health through yoga, healthy eating, and just different wellness practices.
Yeah. And again, if you go watch our video on YouTube, The Natural History of Spine, it explains, what can we do to have a healthier spine down the road. And that need to start when you are your age, Amanda.
Someone was actually just messaging me yesterday, and they're saying, like, I have this back pain. What should I do? And I told them, I'm not a doctor, but my opinion is you should probably do some yoga.
Yeah. Well, it's a combination of, healthy living. And you, to my best understanding, you're going to bring these elements together in a healing center when people notice they are on the wrong path, to bring them on the right path.
Exactly.
So what does it entail, your healing centers? First of all, what states are we in right now, and what state are we planning to go?
We're currently in California and Texas. We have the
And
land in New Hampshire, but we don't have, it's raw still, so that one's the most creative freedom.
Yeah.
But I guess I'll just kind of explain what it would look like to stay there. So you would arrive in California, and maybe we would pick you up from the airport or schedule your transportation depending on the situation you're in. You can come to our ranch, and it will be very natural, a lot of female plants, which means flowers, fruit, edible things.
learn to cook, learn
Yeah.
to eat healthy.
And you learn the benefits of each plant
Yeah.
and why you should be taking that plant and what you should be taking that plant with, maybe depending on the plant.
Mhm.
And you learn different yoga and meditations, laughter meditation, goat yoga, different types of sensory activities like painting with your fingers, working with clay, and different feels and smells and sounds.
Mhm. Why is it important to do those activities? And I tell that all my patients, I see a lot of patients where they have been on the wrong path, and then when they are in their 70s and 80s, they have only one or two
You need
hobbies.
to have hobbies.
Yeah,
You need to heal your inner child.
yeah.
A lot of times we don't do our hobbies or we think things are childish and try and fit this mold of like a corporate person or an adult. But
Mhm.
this is going to take you back to becoming your inner child so you can heal that and learn new hobbies and have different things that make you happy. So when you can't do one, you can still do the other ones.
And that is an aim that everybody should put in, and you are going to teach them, how to awaken this inner child.
Mhm.
So they have 50 hobbies. And it's a natural process. When we get older, we have to say goodbye to some of them, but then you still have more hobbies that you truly have this meaning in your life. Like I'm just going to tell you about the same story we had a while back, that this 80-year-old person that was so angry with me after the surgery, even though the pain was from 10 to 2, or the leg pain was completely gone. But I think he was 85, but his only hobby was taking ride on a motorcycle. And with 85, he couldn't do that anymore. And I couldn't make him go back in time and being
Yeah.
able to do that. But he had no other hobbies. So even though the pain was gone, the leg pain was gone, he was walking. That wasn't good enough for him.
Mm-hmm.
And unfortunately, there are things that are in the domains of the Lord beyond my power.
Yeah, but compare him to your other patient, your wood patient.
Yeah, and the other patient had, has actually medically less progressed and was behind that first same age group. But he used to do carpentry, but then when the thing becomes too heavy for him to lift up and do regular carpentry, he would gather just old wood on the side of the road when he would go for a walk and make small little crosses. And he gave me two, and I think I gave them to you, and they were beautiful. And he had joy in that because he could transform his hobbies to other things. And I think if you awaken the inner child of anybody, you can give them 60 hobbies so that they're still having fun when few of them are not possible anymore.
And a lot of our viewers are in Minnesota too, so we know about seasonal depression. I think having multiple hobbies can help fight seasonal depression. I know I have my summer hobbies that I look forward to all winter, but I also have my winter hobbies that I look forward to all summer.
And I think what I'm really proud of you, that you have a really playful way to pass it on to people, to practically research their inner child and recenter and find the new way, a fun way to do new things and discover new hobbies.
Yep.
And this is our healing center, and I'm hoping that we are going to spend a lot of more time and resources to talk about it in the next year.
Yes. And thank you guys for joining us. We have our next podcast coming up. This one is an immigrant story. It's going to be really interesting.
So stay tuned if you're interested to hear an immigrant story. And for Essence of Medicine, I'm Dr. Abbasi.
And actually, we do have one more grand finale.
Wow.
We wanted to end with a gift for Dr. Abbasi.
Wow, gift for me. Well,
Made by yours truly. In the background, Alyssa.
Wow, a T-shirt, and what does it with my face? That is
Show the camera. It's a vibe.
So, I'm not sure what situation I would wear it, but
Every day.
Every day. But looking at the face, it's a little scary.
No, it's cute. It's cute. Come on.
Okay.
Everyone loves it.
I love it. I love it. Thank
Thanks,
you very
guys.
much. Okay. Bye-bye. Okay.
Wait.